Let's talk more Discworld, coming right up here on Drew's Book Reviews. Good day, good day, good day. Let's talk Discworld. I've actually got two Discworld books to talk about today. We're doing a bit of a dual review on a couple of Discworld books. So let's talk about that. And of course, always don't forget to hit that like button, comment, subscribe if you like this kind of content. And also don't forget to check out all the links posted down below as well. So let's talk about Discworld. We're checking out two books today. One is going to be The Truth by Terry Pratchett, followed up by Thief of Time by Terry Pratchett. Of course, all Discworld books are Terry Pratchett. And I have to say, if you are not reading Discworld, go read Discworld. It's so good. It really is. Check it out. Seriously, go do it. You can pause this video and go read it if you want. That's fine. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about The Truth and Thief of Time. Non-spoiler reviews, of course. As always, I do try to keep spoilers to a minimum or not at all on all books. So let's first off talk about The Truth. So this is an interesting book. This book actually talks a lot about the press and the importance of truth in media and truth in our news media and how difficult it can be to actually disprove something in the media, which is a really kind of fun concept that Terry Pratchett plays about this. He even kind of goes on a little bit to talk about, you know, rich versus poor, tabloids, press sensationalism versus serious news, and how difficult it is to compete in the news media industry and how everything is driven by a competition. So you want to sensationalize and, you know, talk about as much as you can in the most sensational way in order to get your readership. So of course it does start with the invention of the printing press, whereas before everything had to be, you know, more scribed and written down, right? But now we got the printing press, so we're actually able to print news media. This results in an industry boom within Ankh-Morpork, where newspapers are coming out of the woodwork, so to speak, and everything is just going all crazy. So of course this has the whole town talking. And in the typical Terry Pratchett fashion, he manages to actually put in some really humorous comments, really humorous parts of this book, as he does with everything, and really kind of digs at that idea of, is news trustworthy? What makes something a trustworthy news story, and how can we ensure that that news can be trusted? And I love the kind of commentary that he puts into this story from the beginning. A lot of things said within The Truth by Terry Pratchett. I love the way the commentary works, or things like, well, of course it has to be true. It was in the paper after all, which kind of alludes to the idea that people will believe anything in the news media simply because the news media says that it's true, which is absolutely hilarious to me because we see this reflected so accurately in everything else within our world. I mean, people talk about, it's like, hey, you know, the news said this or the news said that, and they believe everything about it without question. And that's kind of what part of the aspect that this book takes a poking fun at, is this idea that simply because news media is news media, it must therefore be true, because after all, news media wouldn't lie to us, right? And that is kind of the funny aspect of this, and I love the way Terry Pratchett really takes his time to poke fun at those different aspects within the news media and the competition between sensationalism and having truth in media and what's going to sell better. And just kind of allude to some of the concepts and how it's kind of poking fun at how we have to change the facts with the reports in order to make it more sensationalized, essentially. I'll just kind of read this brief completely out of context so it doesn't spoil anything. It says, "Captain, this is a damn stupid fact." "I know, sir," said Carrot. "They are the facts, sir. But they're not the right facts. They're stupid facts." I love how it just kind of expresses that. It's like, no. These are the wrong facts. They're stupid facts, so they don't make sense. But a fact is a fact, right? What's true is true, irregardless of our belief and acceptance of whether it's true or not. Something that is true, even if we don't like the truth that it's telling us. And that's kind of the concept that I really enjoyed about this book and how it kind of comes across with The Truth. And really, it's about the Ankh-Morpork times, just trying to get at the truth of mystery that comes up in Ankh-Morpork. So of course, if that's appealing to you, definitely check this book out. I really enjoyed this book, and I really like the way it kind of expressed that. So moving on now to Thief of Time by Terry Pratchett. So Thief of Time is another death book from the Discworld series. Death, of course, is a character. He's a personification of Death, essentially. And Death is an actual real character. So this is the fun one where there's these monks. They are the monks of time, and they control the flow of time. They create time, they take away time, they slow time down, they speed time up. Everything is about time. Well, the auditors come through. What's funny about this, now to get an idea of what the auditors are basically these non-corporeal consciousness entities, beings floating through the cosmos, and they have no idea how anything works, but they want to experience humanity, and of course humanity throws everything into whack and completely messes things up all the time. So of course the auditors get involved, and the auditors are basically hiring this clockmaker to build this clock to stop time. And of course if time stops, so does everything. The world ends. It's the apocalypse. So of course, what happens at the apocalypse? Well, Death has to ride out on his horses, one of the horsemen of the apocalypse. But Death is also trying to round up the other horsemen of the apocalypse, trying to get them to join in his ride out of the apocalypse. And it's the end of the world, because you know it's another apocalypse. And that's actually alluded to in this book, that, you know, the apocalypse we generally think is the end of everything, right? But no, not in Thief of Time, not this apocalypse. This apocalypse is just another apocalypse. And Death has to ride out with his buddies war and famine and pestilence and all that kind of stuff. And even Chaos is recruited, even though Chaos was kind of knocked out. He used to be the fifth horseman of the apocalypse, but now, you know, he's out selling milk and dairy products. He's the milkman now, which is actually kind of funny when you think about it. And as usual, Terry Pratchett does a bang-up job of kind of really taking these concepts and messing with them and just making it funny all around. And of course, the monks of time are trying to fix everything and get everything back the way it's supposed to be. And it's just hilarious the way this is all spread out within this book, the way the story progresses, the way everything's messed with the timeline. You got different parts of history getting all meshed together and mixed up and thrown around. And the monks, of course, have to try and fix everything because, you know, it's the apocalypse, it's the end of the world. What are we going to do? As usual, Terry Pratchett has just done a fantastic job with these books, and it's really, really enjoyable. And I'm really enjoying reading through Terry Pratchett's Discworld series. One of the concepts in this book, Thief of Time, that I really enjoyed is this idea that Terry Pratchett presented that we only see what we want to see. Really, we don't really see what's really right in front of us, and we're very good at seeing things that aren't there, whereas one character, Susan, who happens to be the granddaughter of Death, not literally adopted, but even through adoption managed to inherit some of Death's traits, like being outside of time. Yes, it's that messed up. But Susan, the granddaughter of Death, she basically says that she sees things that are really there, while everyone else only is really good at seeing things that aren't there. And it kind of alludes to this. And I like what this says here, and I'll show you the page in just a moment. But they came across, at one point, the characters Lobsang came across a sign that says, "Keep left." "Look at the sign, will you?" said Susan. "Don't see what you expect to see. See what's right in front of you." Lobsang looked up. "What a stupid sign," he said. As you can see there, the sign says "keep left" while it's pointing to the right. So of course, Lobsang expected it to be pointing to the left, not the right, right? And so Susan's like, no, don't see what you expect to see. See what's actually there. And just kind of that type of insight into these books, or into these concepts that Terry Pratchett puts into his books, kind of highlights like, hey, you know, we're really good at seeing what we expect to see, not what's actually right there in front of us. And we're really good at deceiving ourselves that way. And I thought that that was a really fun way to approach that concept within this book. And it was fun and entertaining, as all Discworld books seem to be. And I know that if you like just ridiculous fantasy, just ridiculously stupid stuff done really well in a really funny and entertaining way, then definitely I think you're going to like Discworld if you haven't already checked it out, and I highly recommend that you do so. These two books are some of my favorite reads of the past couple of months. The Truth, Thief of Time by Terry Pratchett, and I definitely encourage you to check these out. Check out the entire Discworld series if you haven't already. They are just fun, they're entertaining, and it's just fun all around. So like I said, definitely check these out because they're well worth it. I promise that you will enjoy it. It's well worth your time, and I really enjoyed that. So those are my thoughts on Thief of Time and The Truth by Terry Pratchett. So check it out. Thank you so much for watching. Check out my other Discworld book reviews as well. I have a Discworld playlist here on the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of these books. Have you read Discworld? Have you read any of these two books from the Discworld series? Let me know down below what you thought of that, and thank you so much for watching, and as always, until next time, keep on reading. Bye!